Water is magic.
Water's amazing properties. Water is the only substance that exists in nature as liquid, a solid, and a gas. Water circulates continuously between land, sky, and sea. Pure water is odorless, transparent, and for many people tasteless. Unlike most liquids, water expands rather than shrinks when cooled. Thus, water is lighter in its solid state than it is in its liquid state. Water holds heat much better than air does. Air temperature may change rapidly, but water temperature changes slowly. Water is a universal solvent. This means that more substances will dissolve in water than in other liquids. Water shapes the surface of the earth. In combination with gravity, wind, and expansion and contraction caused by freezing and thawing, water can dissolve rocks, wear down mountains and hills, and scald drainage basins. Water has surface tension. Surface tension occurs when two substances that do not mix freely, such as air and water, come into contact. Water molecules draw close together and cling or adhere to each other like magnets, causing the surface to shrink. Water has capillarity. Capillaries are long, slender, tube-like structures. Water rises in capillaries because of the attraction of water molecules to each other and to the molecules on the side of the solid capillary.
The way the water cycle works. First, water evaporates or and turns the liquid into gas and forms as clouds in the sky. Then, after a while, the water vapor condenses and turns back to the liquid, causing precipitation. When the water falls on the ground, it either turns into runoff or groundwater. Runoff are rivers, and groundwater is the water collecting underground and then traveling to a lake or pond. Then the water evaporates from the lake and the cycle starts over again. The way water moves between the ocean and the other bodies of water, the land and the air, is called the water cycle. In Florida, there is an average of 150 billion gallons of rain that falls each day, and another 26 billion gallons flows into the state, mostly from rivers. Nearly 70% of the rain returns to the atmosphere throughout evaporation and plants transpiration.
Weather and climate. Florida has two types of climate: humid subtropical in the northern two-thirds of the state, and the tropical savanna in southern third and the Keys. A humid subtropical climate is cooler than a tropical savanna climate, especially in the winter months, and lacks distinct wet and dry seasons. A tropical savanna climate is warm year-round and has distinct rainy and dry seasons. The rainy season in South Florida is in the summer and early fall, when thunderstorms occur nearly every afternoon. The dry season is in the winter. The variability of rainfall in Florida cannot be overemphasized. It is quite possible for it to rain on one side of the street and not to the other. Stations within the same city often record large differences in the amount of rainfall.
El Niño and La Niña. Florida's climate is strongly influenced by the temperatures of the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean. El Niño and La Niña are a very big influence in Florida's weather. It occurs in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Peru. El Niño is considered the warm phase of ENSO. El Niño is a warm ocean current that generally occurs every 3 to 7 years. El Niño years bring greater than normal amounts of rainfall to Florida in the winter. La Niña. La Niña is considered the cold phase, but it is not the opposite of the Niño because they have different magnitudes. La Niña brings less winter rainfall. La Niña helps emergency managers plan for hurricane season that will probably be more active than normal. A good news is that now scientists can now forecast El Niño and La Niña events.
Scientists predict that global warming will impact several aspects of Florida's climate. While global rainfall levels are expected to increase, rainfall in Florida is expected to decrease as temperatures rise. Reduced rainfall and fewer winter storms reaching Florida will result from a predicted northward shift of the jet stream. Florida might experience more frequent and more intense hurricanes in a warmer world, but more recent studies indicate that the threat from hurricanes will not likely increase significantly in the near future.
Our conclusion is that water is basic to all life on Earth. Living things depend on water, but water does not depend on living things. It has a life of its own. Today, humans have the responsibility to take care of the water, because the water now on Earth is essentially all the water we will ever have. Yes, water is magic. It is up to us to respect and protect it.